align himself with people that are naturally contrarian.
Hmm.
But that wasn't even fun. After a while, he abandoned that because that didn't give him the rush that he thought it was going to give him. And as
Hmm.
far as his relationship with Kim, these are two people, two surface people, um, who are very superficial.
Hmm.
Um, it was their relationship to me. It looked like it was just based on they liked who each other were when they were with one another.
Yeah.
And when there is no substance, there is not enough to anchor you to the relationship. I say this all the time. People don't believe me, but it's been proven time and time again. They're the
Hmm.
type of people that, from the outside looking in, look like they only had each other in common.
Hmm.
Nothing else really in common except one another. And you know, him doing all this foolishness, all of a sudden he's worried about his black children and being raised a certain way. You're with a woman that had ponies at her birthday party.
Yeah.
She's a woman of privilege, not just her color, she comes from money and power.
Old money.
So if you want, he says in this new rhyme something about climbing on the brother's back to get to that ramen. That's not happening in their home. They have nannies, they have chefs. The chef probably make the babies fresh ramen. They don't know nothing about no top ramen.
Okay. Okay. No, nothing about
And
putting in there for three,
and
4 minutes.
and he has no one but himself to blame because you gave all of your access to a white woman, and he thinks he can build another Kim. He really actually can't.
You can't. You
You
can't.
can't clone her.
You
Kim is
can't.
Kim.
Yeah.
Regardless of what we say about her, she's a
Yep.
beautiful girl. And now she's having an awakening. She discovered that her children are black. She discovered that, wow, after years of sucking black dick, things really do happen to black people.
Hmm.
Excuse my French again. And she now sees color and
Yep.
she's helping people of color. So she's gaining substance,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, because being old Kimberly that was just about looks and her ass and, coveting the black aesthetic, that wasn't enough. Commodifying her body, that wasn't enough to sustain her.
Hmm.
And yeah, this is what we're seeing now. In terms of his mental health, as an outsider, as someone who's like a little familiar with what bipolarity looked like, sure, it's easy to say he's had bouts of mania, absolutely, the rantings, and it's demonstrated in the third act of the documentary, which to me became very lonely, very desperate almost, and sad.
Hmm.
The third act of the documentary is, I don't know, it's sad because he's still searching for something. It's like there's a hole there. And I don't want to, speculate and be like, well, it could be the grief. It could be this is someone who's clearly not even settled with the fact that he has to take medication for the rest of his life. I don't think
Hmm.
he's even reconciled that. You know, bipolarity is, we discussed this.
Hmm.
It's a mixture of and you as an adult are responsible for your own well-being and mental health.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You have to take your medicine. You have to do the things, um like we just named, like your physical health, in order to sustain a fortifying life.
Yeah.
It's up to you, and I don't really think he's gotten that yet. He just wants to rant about how the medication makes him feel or dulls his supposed genius. It's not what it's about. It's about
Hmm.
learning to live with that and still being okay. And
Yeah.
I don't know if he's reconciled that yet. And I don't know, it just left me feeling sad. It just looked sad to me. And
Yeah, because it's a chronic condition, you know.
yeah, it's not going away.
Um,
It's not going
but
away.
but as you age, it has the potential to affect you more. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say, well, when you watch the documentary, some things will click on,
Hmm.
and the person narrating it is a friend of his, from, he met him when he was 17, and he was also a young man in his 20s when they first meet one another, and it's a journey, and it's really about Kanye, but it's really about two men going in on two different journeys, two paths,
Hmm.
kind of, and then reconnecting. But I don't know. It's just strange. You have to make your own assessment.
Yeah,
It's
well, I will.
definitely an
I'm gonna
interesting
check it out,
ride.
and I'm gonna let you know. So
Interesting ride.
yeah. So okay, so we covered the mental illness aspect, and then
Yes.
we started talking about. Well, you brought up the fact that Kanye and Kim, there was this lack of substance, and so there was
Mhm.
no anchor there to keep them grounded.
Mhm.
And then as they both started having their own individual awakenings, you start to see them start to separate,
Yes.
because you start to realize, like, well, I don't have anything in common with you. And it's like you essentially like just start like falling out of love almost, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and we do see that time and time again. I think we see it the most, well, it's most prevalent for us in our um what is it? Not well to do, but like our like rich couples, wealthy couples, high profile couples is what we'll call them.
Well,
So
actually,
social
I
media
see it every
couples.
day. Actually, I see it every day. I
Yes.
see it with regular people, what like pretty people, being
Hmm.
pretty with one another,
Hmm.
prioritizing whatever life they're trying to show on social media, all kinds of stuff. There
Hmm.
are people who go around saying, "Well, how come I don't have a boyfriend? I have this, I have that." And I'm always
Oh
like,
man.
no one cares about you. You're shut up. You have nothing to offer them, and that's why they don't want you.
Yeah.
You're so egotistical as to, oh, I'm so great. Some people think their very existence is a gift
Hmm.
to the world, and for
Hmm.
that alone, they deserve a really great partner.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
tell people, I burst a lot of bubbles all the time to meet. They don't like when I start speaking about relationships because people start
Yeah.
looking like, oh, that might be me.
But no, but that, I mean, that, that's so true. So I see a lot, of course, because we're going in and out of people's homes, and the majority of the calls of service that we make are domestic in nature.
Hmm.
Either we're not getting along, or this has been an ongoing problem. There's differences in like child rearing. There'll be differences, and I mean, sometimes we even, not sometimes, we even get called out when it's like, my 12-year-old is refusing to listen to me. Um, I need you to come in and make them do their chores. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if the kid's not listening to you, the parent, I'm
You
a
got a
stranger.
problem. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
you
you
want me to
know,
put my gun on your 12-year-old? Do you want me to tase your 12-year-old?
yeah. And it just it's there's this generational gap because like when I was growing up, like parents did not call the police. They didn't want the police in their homes. They didn't want none of that. So that to me is a whole like different concept. And then just, the more time that I've spent in police work, because I started on 2014. So I was
Hmm.
like 22, and here I am, never been married, no kids, nothing like that. And I'm going into somebody's home who's old enough to be my parents and giving them life advice.
Orders, yeah, and
Yeah.
advice, yeah.
you know. So on when I did a episode with Keith, I told the story of the lady, her daughter called us to the house, because this woman and her husband had been having problems, and they decided they were going to try to have a threesome. And yeah, and they thought that this was going to fix stuff. So the woman gets upset. In her words, he was doing her more than he was doing me.
You know he was because she knew.
Right. Well, and
We
he
don't
picked the
know that.
woman. Yeah, he picked the
Hmm.
woman.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
you know, so as we out here on this lady's porch and we're having this conversation, I'm like, okay, so what did we learn today? And she's like, huh? I was like, what did we learn? We learned that if two people are having problems, we're not going to add a third person. Like,
Yeah, and that,
you know,
well, that among other things.
yeah.
I bet that was something.
No, it was. I mean, and then like you see people who victims and perpetrators of domestic violence, and they get stuck in that cycle, thinking that the person will change, or this is a one-time
Yeah.
thing. Or even if it's not physical, it could be emotional, spiritual, financial, because it
Yes,
happens in so many
absolutely.
different
Oh
forms.
yeah, financial abuse,
Hmm.
absolutely. Oh yeah, emotional abuse. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and when you were talking about therapy, I'm like a big proponent of couples therapy, and recently, like last year, was it last year? No, it was in like 2020 is when I learned about doing like check-ins. So,
Mm-hmm.
like we kind of grow up and we learn how to check in with ourselves, but we don't really have a name for it. And
Right.
so, in doing my research and stuff, I learned about doing like relationship check-ins. You just check
Yes.
in the pace. Is everything going good? Is there
Yeah, you
anything that,
happy.
we need to talk about? Is there anything I need to change? Like,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm getting up in the morning, am I too loud? Just all manner of things.
These things count. Um,
Yeah,
they do. They
yeah.
really do. Like just being present with your partner,
Mhm,
it helps in the long run.
mhm,
No relationship is perfect. Every relationship goes through like ebbs and flows. I've been in
mhm,
a long-term relationship for quite some time. And yeah, we've had our great years and then
mhm.
we've had, I might punch you, like it ebbs and flows, but we have to, remember, um, you know, keep my main thing is keeping it substantive,
Mhm,
fortifying things have to evolve and change, making sure that happens,
mhm,
being accountable for certain things. I've learned a lot.
mhm.
And things is, even at my age, there's still things I'm learning every day about myself, about my partner, yeah, we're older now. It's different. We're going into a different phase, even in our relationship,
Yeah.
because we're two old geezers. No, no, because we're not, it's different. It's a different level of emotional maturity and
Mhm,
just, how we handle things, how we approach problems.
mhm.
It you know it's not like it was maybe say when we first reconnected about what almost like 9 years ago. Different. Sometimes, most of the times, I would come in hot.
Mhm.
Now it's not like that. It's like, let's talk about it. Let's see how we could talk this through instead of me doing a whole bunch of yelling and
Mhm.
carrying on.
Yeah.
So it's different, approaching things differently, just being, main thing is being accountable for your actions and being accountable to one another, for whatever it is, for whatever parameters you set within your relationship. I think that's really important. I met someone recently and they were like, oh, you still call your boyfriend, you still, she's a young girl, she's married.
Mhm.
She said, "You still call your boyfriend, you still You call your man your boyfriend? Yeah. She's like, but you're older. I said, I'm old. But he's not a boy. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
Yeah.
that. He could be 85 and I would be calling him my boyfriend. We're not
Yeah.
married. He don't pay my mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
He's my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is when I pick up he better answer it. If I call him dog, if I pick up that phone to call him, he better pick that call up. Young girl.
Yeah. So that takes me to my next point, and I have one other thing that I want to dig into with you. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I have to try to get so much, um, you know,
It's
because
fine.
yeah. So that takes me to titles. So, in relationships, people are always so hung up on getting to a title. And when that happens, you really do run the risk of skipping over that substance building phase
Yeah,
because you're in such a rush to get to, oh, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, or this is my fiance,
right.
because and
This
you'll
is
see that
my
on social media, like I can't wait to fiance somebody, or my fiance somebody to death. Well, let's slow down here for just a little bit.
it's interesting you ask me that. We're gonna divvy this up,
Okay.
because I'm always on the queer side of things.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna talk about the straight side first.
Okay.
Yes, everyone is rushing to, and just like with that example, I don't give a damn what I call him. I am
Hmm.
really focused on my relationship. And let
Hmm.
me tell you something, there are girls, some of these people, they calling them their husband and fiance. I know my relationship is better than theirs with my boyfriend. At
Okay.
uh-huh. Okay, with my boyfriend. My relationship is tight as fuck though.
Yeah.
Um, People are rushing for titles, and also people are not asking for what they want either.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
that's something you want or aspire to, like people just start having sex in the hopes that they'll make it a relationship. If I keep having sex with him, I guess we'll just have to. That's not how
So,
that goes.
all right. So I am working with a client, and I know she'll listen to this because she just recently started listening to the podcast.
Oh,
But
okay.
she was telling me about a young man that told her that if he doesn't have sex with a woman in 60 days of dating,
Hmm.
that he cuts it off. That's his thing. And so what I told her, and obviously I've never been a woman, so I'm telling her from a male perspective, is
You
that
know a bullshitter when you hear one, though.
right? And I'm telling her, well, it sounds to me because she's still a virgin and she's never been engaged in anything like that. And I said, well, one, you've already established a boundary. You're waiting until you get married, to have sex. So I just sort of said, to me, it sounds like he's trying to rush you, and
Hmm.
that if you allow him to rush you in this space, which she's in her early 30s, you haven't
Hmm.
done it yet. If you break down that boundary, you'll always be doing that for the remainder of whatever comes out of this.
And that's very good, sound advice. He sounds like someone a manipulator.
Hmm. Very much.
She doesn't have to do anything, and she can tell him to shove his 60 days where the sun don't shine.
Okay. I told her,
Um,
I was like,
and
don't even waste any time in that
and
one.
if and young lady, if you are listening to this, child, if you give in, it ain't gonna be good.
Mm-mm.
It's not. I'm telling you right now, he don't even know what he's doing. He doesn't, and it won't be worth the wait.
Mm-mm.
You'll just be giving in to this fool, having a lackluster sexual experience, and for what? Don't ever compromise your goals or anything for anyone, you know?
Hmm.
And I always say this too. And even if you wanted to break it, make sure it's on your terms. Because
Hmm.
I'm one of those girls that I don't ascribe to that whole slut. I don't like those words because women are liberated now and we're
Hmm.
sexual beings. And if we
Hmm.
want to have sex, we can. And it doesn't matter no matter how many men we have sex with, it doesn't change who we are as people. And
Hmm.
I really, um, subscribe to that because I was told a lot. My parents were very conservative, and I had things around saying like not being a hoe, not being. I wish I was hoeing. There's a couple of people I look back at like, damn, I should have missed out on a lot just to have this pristine reputation that
Hmm.
really nobody at a certain point don't nobody give they don't care about it. They want to know that you know what you're doing,
Yes. So
you know?
that was the next part of the conversation that we
Yeah.
had, is that there are some insecurities because um, she's older than, most young women,
Yeah.
and she has significantly less experience. But, like I
Right.
told her, there was going to be a man out there that appreciates the fact that you're still a virgin, and they will meet your religious values where you have them set at.
Absolutely. They will meet her expectations. Maybe she should
Hmm.
keep it within her faith. Maybe
Hmm.
that's where she should date, like within her faith. I know
Hmm.
sometimes they could be boring, but
Yes.
listen, you can't have everything. You
Yeah.
can't have the swag and the those
Hmm.
guys, they're having sex.
Hmm. And that's what I told her. Like, she's a rarity in our generation. And if she chooses to go out there and explore and do that kind of stuff, that's your business. And you do all that. And that if she chooses to do that on her own, with toys and stuff, because I told
It's
her at a minimum, you need to learn what you like, what you don't
You
like, where
need
you like to
to,
be
oh,
touched and stuff.
yes, ma'am. You
Yeah.
need to have a guided exploration of your own body,
Hmm.
knowing how your body works, and knowing what stimulates you
Hmm.
sexually. No, please don't be one of these girls, child, that go your whole life without or having an orgasm. That's a sad
Hmm.
existence.
Hmm.
And people need not be afraid of their body and what it does. Like it is, their pleasure points and they were put
Hmm.
there for a reason. Women deserve to be um have pleasure as well, you
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely. Yep. I
Hmm.
listen, I'm
So
all on board.
that's right,
Yeah.
Dimitri. That's some great advice. Honey, you better get you a rabbit child. Okay.
Okay. So the
Hmm.
last thing I want to wrap up with is the affirmations. So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about the other side of relationships real quick.
okay, let's get into it.
On the queer side of things, it's a little bit
Okay.
different because everybody
Hmm.
has a different dynamic. So we have our heterosexuals, they have a different dynamic. Then we have
Hmm.
gay men, they have a different dynamic. And then they have, and lesbians have a different dynamic. And then people of trans experience also have their
Hmm.
dynamic. I'm
Absolutely.
always dealing with black gay men, and
Hmm.
there are a lot of themes that come up. Um, and especially as far as titles, it's hard, this being
Hmm.
black, gay, and dating because
Hmm.
my working theory is that for at least 80% of you, there have been so much noise um, when you were little boys about quelling who you were,
Yes. Yeah. I just saw something
repressing who
today.
you are. Yeah,
Um,
repressing.
yes. I literally just saw something today where this little boy wanted a pair of new shoes. They were going to the beach, and he chose a pair of pink shoes that had ducks on the front. And his mom, open minded, as she should be. Got on form and posted a photo, and then of course here goes the fucking internet, and uh, a lady that doesn't even have kids is, oh well, that couldn't be my son. You know, I would tell him they don't have him in his size. You know, that color's not for him. He needs to get blue, black, red, yellow, anything but pink. Pink is for girls. First of all, you like little small-minded idiot. You know, because I'm in a different space in my life now, so I
I
try not to cuss
know
as
you
much.
ain't cuss her, right? You ain't cuss her ass
Uh,
out. And let me tell you
but
something. She doesn't have any children. Good, because you don't need to be anyone's mother
and,
thinking like that.
and that is this is one of the things I love about Twitter, especially Black Twitter.
They
Baby, they
got
will
her
be right
together.
on
Mm-hmm. They
it.
got
Like
her
eight
dumb ass together.
because like
He's a
we
baby.
yeah, and we create the idea that this is for boys and this is for
This is
girls because guess what?
I don't
Uh,
even
uh
like gender reveals. You're telling the genitals what to do before they even get here. I
yeah.
don't participate in gender reveals. I told my cousin, if you want to have that, that's great. I will not be attending that. And you, with a bisexual sister and a lesbian cousin, should not even be engaging in that.
Hmm.
I don't give a damn. I don't like gender reveals because you're telling the genitals what to do. Like no. We have to erase this type of thinking. So what happens is, so from all this noise that little boys, especially of a certain generation, I'd say whoever is now in their mid to late 20s,
Hmm.
30s, right?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
we ain't even going to touch the gay men that are in their 40s. They're messed up. A lot of internalized
Listen,
homophobia, a lot of internalized femphobia, toxic
we're not, and
masculinity.
we're not even hitting the DL man that.
So what I'm gonna say is because of all that internal noise from when the boys are kids,
Hmm.
that translates into how they operate within romantic relationships, and it's difficult. It's like,
Hmm.
if I express an interest in you, is it too much? Am I
Hmm.
thirsty?
Hmm.
It's like a dance y'all have to do.
Hmm. Does this make me too gay?
Does this make me
Like,
too gay?
and that is
Sexual
just
position.
a
And
crazy like
and I
way
was talking about
to
that
think
the other
about
day
stuff.
too, about how for gay men, sexual position make, you know, it becomes a very big component of a relationship,
Oh,
even
it
though
could
you
be
don't want it to
weaponized.
be.
Yeah, it could be
Yes,
weaponized against you.
absolutely. So all these things with that happen from such a young age that are internalized,
Hmm.
it's like it shows, it presents itself when, these boys become young men, and this
Hmm.
is how they navigate romantic relationships. That's why I'm sure you've encountered men who, if you show them a little bit of attention, they want to be married to you.
Hmm.
In the gay community, there's a lot of, I'm having sex with friends
Hmm.
because it's easy, it's comfortable. And I think this is the closest to love that I'm ever going to get. There is this all encompassing notion that I might not ever have love. I might not ever be in a relationship. It's like a
Hmm.
constant fear, and it creates anxiety. There's a lot of, love bombing and holding hearts hostage. The guy wants to be with you. You don't want to be with him, but you've expressed, like, I don't even want to hear that bullshit anymore. Well, he
Yeah.
knew because I told him. Once they tell you how they feel about you,
Hmm.
and you continue to see them and sleep with them and do all these boyfriend things with them, you're holding their heart hostage. And now
Hmm.
that makes you complicit.
Hmm.
That makes you
Hmm.
complicit. So that dating is very hard. I
It
get that.
is.
But there is a way to do it responsibly.
Hmm.
And, that's why my ears are always open. That's why my doors are always open. That's why I'm always trying to help people think about what they can do to fortify themselves before they go, looking for romantic relationships, because it's hard on either side. It really is. And I always
Yeah.
tell people, the grass is never greener on the other side, okay? Just take the time to fertilize and keep your side of the grass green
Yes.
if you can.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And the whole process of dating on both sides requires unlearning bad behaviors, learning good behaviors, and then as you pointed out, as you grow with your partner, or even if you all grow separately and then reconnect and start growing again, there's still going to be periods where you have to keep unlearning and relearning,
Yeah.
because nothing is ever like completely set in stone.
No, and one of the main things I've learned, it's something I keep repeating, the path to your person is not linear.
Hmm.
There's a lot of curves and swerves, there's a lot of ups and downs, there's a lot of kissing a lot of princes, looking in the mirror, you might be the frog. It's a
Hmm.
lot of that, before you get to your person.
Yes.
And yeah, that's the main takeaway. If I could leave anyone with, I would leave them with that. Just fortify yourself
Yes.
first.
Yes. Ooh,
Yeah.
look at that. Look at you just coming on here and just
Okay.
laying down all this knowledge.
It's what I do.
Yes. The last
Hmm.
thing that I want to say about that, because I don't know how I came across it. Maybe it was like a Twitter post or Instagram post or something. But, Oprah has her own network.
Yes.
Kudos to her for doing that because she
Hmm.
came from very humble beginnings.
Yes, she
Um,
did.
But on her network, she has a series about love. And I had to go through and look at it twice. It looks like it's
Hmm.
like high profile people. But what I didn't see are any queer relationships that were highlighted in this,
Hmm.
long-term love, how we reinvent ourselves, how we keep our relationship fresh. And I went through all the seasons, episode by
Hmm.
episode, looking, and I
Not
didn't see
one.
anything, not one. And I think that lack of representation, I know especially for me when I was growing up, I didn't see it in Little Oak, Kentucky, is you just don't necessarily see your gay relationship as something that's going to last long term because you're not seeing um older black men in these long-term relationships. You always see them as
Absolutely.
single, they're still on dating websites, they're at the
They're
clubs trying to
still
pick up the new young gays.
looking for the fountain of youth in young
Yeah,
men.
yeah.
Yeah, I told you we weren't touching the 40.
I
We're
know,
not,
I know.
because that's a
I know.
whole other
We'll
conversation.
have to come back to
And
that.
you do need that representation. I think
Hmm.
it's imperative that that is shown. See,
Hmm.
but we have, once again, like, a lot of heterosexual people like to other queer people, like, y'all are a separate species, like, we can't possibly relate to anything y'all are
Hmm.
doing, which is untrue. Which is untrue.
Yeah.
It's like a complete dismissal of, humanity in
Hmm.
others. Queer people fall in love. They fall in love every day. They're in
Hmm.
relationships trying to make it work just like everybody else, you
Yes.
know? But I think that, too, a lot of queer men, especially Black queer men, they're trying to follow this heteronormative mold that
Mm.
shapes a lot of their thinking.
Hmm.
And what's interesting is they probably never seen a successful heterosexual relationship in their life.
Hmm.
I know 7 times out of 10, I'm sure you ain't never seen a relationship where you came out of a home with a single mama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
When
I
did
can
you
count
really
on one
see
hand growing up.
love demonstrated in front
Yeah.
of you with your mother? You got
Yeah.
to think of these things. So you're trying to mold your relationship or how you pick a partner off something you're really not familiar with, and it's also like that noise from society telling you how you have to be. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So gay men are, well, queer people in general are presented with a lot of challenges
Hmm.
with that, you know. What does a healthy relationship look like with two men or with two women or with people of trans experience? What does
Hmm.
that look like? What does a healthy relationship look like? And for some people, they don't even want to explore the boundaries of that because they're trying to follow this template of what
Hmm.
society says. Well, I'm already gay, but at least if I have, like, if I'm assigned gender roles in my home, all of this is about being palatable to heterosexuals. And I think all of it should be thrown out. I think gay men, specifically, because I'm always talking to gay men, should create their own parameters for their
Hmm.
own relationships
Hmm. That are not revolving around sexual positions.
that are not revolving around sexual positions, that are not revolving around anything binary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, sexual positions, it's, I mean, it's a lot. It can be a
Hmm.
lot, but then there's the internalized femphobia, and then, everybody's reduced to something because of their
Hmm.
sexual position. What I always tell people is, when that door closed, just make it do what it do. It doesn't even matter.
That's it.
Am I right,
That is
Demetrius?
it. You're
Just make
right.
it do what it do.
That's it. That's it. Listen, I don't be worried about what nobody else is doing in their bedroom. That
Listen,
is y'all's business.
okay? And I do what I do, and don't ask me about what I'm doing.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. And if people would mind their business, the world would be a better
It would be
place.
all right.
The world would be so nice if people just minded their business. It's so true.
Oh gosh. Well, the last thing I want to talk to you about is affirmations, and
Yes,
I know that you practice those. I know
I
that's a part
do.
of,
This is a recent
yeah,
thing for me too. It's
yes.
recent. I've done it on and on throughout my life, like on and off throughout my life. But
Hmm.
once again, I'm trying to really get into a certain
Hmm.
space in my life, especially since,
Yes.
I'm in my late 40s, and, I'm feeling, I don't know, empowered. It's a good
Hmm.
time. It
Yeah.
is. And this is the best time for me to, like, really think about, um I keep repeating it, but I have to, fortifying my mind, body, and spirit.
Yes. Yes.
And all of these things are connected. So yes, I have affirmations that I say every day. I like to pray. I like to,
Hmm.
get up. I don't I noticed about 2 years ago, and I think this had to do with my grief, and I think I was
Hmm.
still angry. I was like angry at God, like, for taking my parents, and I didn't want to pray.
Hmm.
I didn't want to thank the universe or the higher power for giving me life, for sustaining my life, for, waking me up in the morning.
Hmm.
And I noticed that my life was out of order
Hmm.
because I wasn't centered, because I
Hmm.
believe that, you know, I have problems with Christianity, but I do believe in God. And I
Hmm.
think that God is it within everybody. It's in your
Hmm.
center, it's your intuition, it's energy, all those things that people talk about. Um, that's where God lives. And you have to get right with that part of you in order for your life to flow smoothly, or be ready for the obstacles that life throws you.
Hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get on my affirmation game again and just start saying things to myself. I had to learn to be, there was one thing I realized, especially this year too, that my mom, before she died, she was like,
Hmm.
oh, you need to be nice, you need to be kind. I'd always adhered to that, but the one thing I was missing was I wasn't being nice or kind to myself. The way I
Hmm.
treated myself, the way I talked to myself, being heavy at this age. And I'm not really heavy, heavy, but it's like, it's too heavy for me. And
Hmm.
I would just be saying terrible things about, you know, I had to refocus, like recalibrate, um, reframe how I spoke to myself, being kinder to myself
Hmm.
is the mantra for this year. And last year I came upon a book. It's called Love Yourself. Like your life depends on it. It's like a little
Mm.
booklet. It's
Okay.
by Kamal Ravikant. And it's really like a guide on how to really begin to have a relationship with your inner self.
Hmm.
People say you have to love yourself like it's so easy. Oh, she don't love herself. Ain't that the famous quote? She don't love
Yeah.
herself. Uh, you gotta love yourself first. You gotta.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. And
Yeah.
I've noticed even for me, because I'm one of those people like I love myself, but do I, it was like a question, do I really? Am
Hmm.
I really able to go deep within and say that I loved every part of me, flaws and all?
Hmm.
And I don't think I was able to say that a couple of years ago. I really don't, even though I've always had higher self-esteem, it's not really about that. It's about really embracing that inner part of yourself. And you know, that is where your confidence really comes from.
Hmm.
That's where the esteem really started to flourish, because I went inside myself and hugged myself and began to really love every part of myself. So even the parts that I want to work on. So this book really helped with
Yeah.
that.
I'm
And
gonna have to
it's
look
like
into that.
simple things. Oh yeah, it's cool. It's like, and it sounds so ridiculous. And the writer, he wrote it like he's having a conversation with you. He's
Hmm.
like, you're gonna think this is silly, but I want you to go to the mirror and say, I love you. There's something about saying I love you to your reflection that's very intimate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's really about looking into your reflection, looking at your self reflected back to you and seeing
Hmm.
your soul almost and saying, I love you. It's powerful. It is. So I had the book and then I started doing affirmations again.
Yes.
I have a lot of, well, I actually, there's a company called Booked,
Okay.
right? This beautiful black girl on the cover. It's a black owned
Ooh.
company and they sell like agendas
Oh,
for,
okay.
it's beautiful. This is
It's like a
like the second
planner.
one. Yeah, it's a planner
Okay.
and it has all these wonderful things inside, and a list of affirmations, all these career goal charts, places for you to put your vision board. It's amazing. It's a black owned company and
You found
they
them
have
on where'd you find them at?
they are, well, I got, a friend told me about them, but they're on Booked, BOOK apostrophe D. I think it's booked.com.
Okay.
And it's like booked and busy. It's like all the
Okay.
black girl isms. It's it's adorable.
I
So
like that.
their agendas come with a list of affirmations, the best.
Hmm.
I'm gonna read them quickly. Because I am a child of the infinite God, abundance is my birthright. Love
Ooh.
flows through my veins. I am love. I am at peace. I exist in a natural state of ease. I am decisive and productive. I elevate everything I'm attached to. I am a magnet for blessings. Total health is my divine inheritance. I bless and protect my temple. I radiate beauty, charm, and grace. I am a powerhouse. I am indestructible. Money is constantly circulating in my life. I use it wisely and constructively. I
Mm.
contribute to the joy, success, and happiness of others. My life is bountiful and more success is coming to me. So, I mean, it doesn't get
Ooh.
better than this.
Okay. Like it's literally like giving you it's like putting it
Everything
all
you
right
need.
there.
I'm a child of God.
Woo.
want the
Okay.
money. I want to be where the money resides.
Okay.
You know what I'm.
Okay.
All of it.
Like it's
Team has already laid it out for you. These are the most. I couldn't find a better set of affirmations if I tried. I used to have affirmations and I came up with my own. They're not
hmm
as good as this.
Yeah, I mean
It's
that
like
is I
it
mean
really.
I'm sitting over here right now like oh let me get to that website because they doing it.
Yes, get one for your mom. She would
I
love it.
am. Whew,
And they have a
yeah.
book. They have booked and busy, and then they have a booked and blessed. For the
Whew,
girls that love the scripture.
okay.
So they
Okay,
have
that's her.
scriptures. Booked
It's
and
definitely
blessed.
her.
They
Yes.
get you right with the scripture for the day. It's beautiful. I've gifted
Okay.
them to people. It's wonderful. But these affirmations have been a lifesaver. Um, they encompass everything you need to get by. And that's really, how I've been centering myself, focusing myself. I still
hmm
have things to work on, like getting to bed at a certain time. But as long as I got these in that
Yes.
book, I'm good.
Oh my gosh. That first of all, the website, but then I mean that affirmation was like really good. Like if that's what you rolling out of the
Awesome.
bed too,
Okay,
and yeah, I mean
baby, you don't need anything else. You don't. It's like a prayer in itself. It really is
yeah,
like it's like a mantra, a personal mantra, and it includes everything that you want spiritually, to come to you,
yes.
spiritually to guide you. These are fantastic.
Like it
Fantastic.
was everything that needed to be had to get
Hmm.
ready to go. So
I'm
yeah.
telling you, if your mom has a birthday coming up, get her that agenda. She love it.
Listen, now we know why, you popping up and you getting to the money
Okay, I'm
because
getting to it. I'm telling you, listen, when you implement certain things in your life begins to change. It does.
no, it really
Slowly,
does.
not in the way with what they say, God, he's an on-time God, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Might not come right when you want him, but he's on time.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to think of it that way. And everything is a process, everything is baby steps. If I'm circulating these types of, this is a part of being kind to myself. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
circulating this type of mantra into the universe, it's creating a sense of calm. It's creating a certain type of energy to emanate from me and radiate around me. So I feel good about that. It makes you feel good. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes. So that's one of the things that I do with my clients. I got my client notes here. So I'm old school when I take the notes. Like I still write everything down because
Mm-hmm.
that helps me like, lock it in. So when I have them start to develop their affirmations, if they're not familiar with those, I give them five, and then I'll have them work on one, probably like a week or two, just to get them in the flow. So I always have
Mm-hmm.
them start with "I love," and then just fill in the blank. What do you love
Yes.
about yourself?
What do you love about
Um,
yourself?
and then I say, "I am." What are you? And I found most people say, "I am worthy," and that resonates for them. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next one is I forgive myself. And it's
Oh,
like, what do you
that's a
forgive
big
yourself
one.
for? Yeah, because we hold on to so much stuff. Some things like we had nothing to do with that happened to us. We were
Yes.
just, right place, wrong time, and somebody took advantage of us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other one that I use is I feel gratitude for, and then the last one
Yes.
is I will protect. So it kind of gives them like just
Those are
a
good
nice
too.
broad spectrum. Yeah, just a nice broad
Mm-hmm.
spectrum of things. And I just have them work on one and then we add in another one. So we kind of like layer it, with everything else. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, I'll write these out
Wow.
for you and send it to you because those are really
Yes.
cool.
Yes. Listen, I'm already on the website. I'm about to order a book and get it shipped down here to Florida. Okay.
And the book is beautiful. I have another one. Like last
Hmm.
year's was a young. I really love last year's because that one was a brown girl with short hair
Hmm.
like me. Just
Hmm.
beautiful. And this one is a beautiful light skinned
Yes.
lady with a long hair, so pretty because all of us black girls, we come in all shapes, sizes, hues, honey, and
Yes.
we are all beautiful. And I think
Meanwhile,
on
mine is looking all like blah. It's
blah.
just, it's like, yeah, it gets the
No,
job
and
done.
there's another one on there with a beautiful girl with natural hair.
Hmm.
These books are absolutely beautiful. And like I said, I've gifted them to people. They're amazing. And, it comes with a pen, it comes with those affirmations. It's well worth the money. They're beautiful.
Yeah,
And the
absolutely.
affirmations alone are worth their weight in gold.
I know
They
it.
really are. Hmm.
Oh my gosh. Lindsay, thank you so much.
You're
Like,
very
yeah,
welcome.
I know we got to have like, our 15, 20 minutes before we even started
I
recording, and we
know. No,
just, yeah,
I need to call you more often. I just had a rough I've had a rough couple of months.
I
It's been
know it.
rough. I was sick in January, like I had a big ball in February. I'm just getting
Hmm.
back to my life.
Hmm.
It's been a
Hmm.
lot going on. So now I have some time to like release, get back on my schedule, and get myself together. So I'll be calling you. And I know you have a high pressure job, child. I don't want to be bothering you with my foolishness.
No, it's
But
a lot more relaxed than what it used to be. And
good.
so my course that I was teaching for U of L for this spring, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't have it. But I did pick up a part-time teaching position with Miami-Dade College.
Ooh,
So yeah, so I'm
come
waiting
on,
for that to kick off.
Professor.
Yeah.
Professor.
Okay. So, I mean, you've already shared so much. Are there any parting words for your first time on the show? Or, I mean, we've been talking for almost 2 hours, so we done like
Well,
cover.
listen, we just gonna have to do it. We just had to do it. I knew it wasn't gonna be a short show. I knew it. I just want to say to you, I'm so proud of you. I'm just so elated that you're doing this. I listen when I can. For the most part, I'm caught up. I might be, I don't know, but I listen and I learn. And I'm proud of you. I love you. And
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for inviting me. It's been a
Yes, I love you
pleasure.
too. Yes, I'm so grateful that, you came on. I mean, of course, everybody else is getting everything that I get,
Right.
so
It's true. Only this one time now.
yeah.
You can get it anytime. But for them, only one time.
Yes. All right. Let me stop the